Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very wet Blanton Collier Stadium in Paris, Kentucky for tonight's playoff game between the Paris Greyhounds under Coach Roger Griggs and the Frankfurt Panthers under Coach Raymond Webb. With me tonight is Ron Wigglesworth, Assistant Principal at Bourbon County High School and Frankfort High graduate and former Frankfort High Assistant Coach. How you doing, Ron?
Pretty good, Walter. Pretty good.
Well,
Glad to be here.
Well, it's awfully good to see you here tonight, Ron. How are things going in Bourbon County?
Things are going real well. We feel like it.
Gotta get his head set up.
We feel like that we've got a young football team ourselves, and we didn't have a whole lot of luck this year. We feel like we've got a team in the future. Hopefully things will happen to get our club turned around.
Well, you know, you've got an awfully fine tradition in Paris. Hopefully some of that will carry over to Bourbon County. Now, are you an assistant coach over there or head coach, or what are you doing with the program?
At the current time, I'm out of coaching completely. In administration, this is my third year as assistant principal, and as a result, I've decided not to coach, other than I did coach the golf team this year. There might be a possibility in the future that I might get into coaching ranks.
Okay, Ron, we're having a little problem here with your mic hearing you. Let me see if I can adjust this here and see if we can pick up on you.
No one's ever told me they had a hard time hearing me.
Okay, Ron, let's try now. How you coming in there?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Just go ahead and enter.
All right, I'll tell you what. While we're working on getting Ron's mic taken care of, I'll go ahead and tell you the starting lineups. First for the home Paris Greyhounds. On offense, we have starting at quarterback a 6'1", 162-pound senior, number 6, Luke Summers. At a halfback, we have a 6', 160-pound senior, number 26, Lawayne Edwards. Fullback is a 6', 160-pound junior, number 21, Darren Gray. Our wingback, as they have him listed, is a 6', 1 inch, 160-pound senior, number 22, LaShawn Stewart. Across the line for the Greyhounds, the center is a 6'3", 230-pound senior, number 56, Noah Williams. The guards are a 6', 220-pound senior, number 61, Jason Donahue, and a 6'4", 250-pound senior, number 54, Kevin Parsons. The tackles for the Greyhounds on offense are a 6'3", 257-pound junior, number 55, Mike Franklin, and a 6'4", 255-pound senior, number 71, Jeff Holland. The ends for the Greyhounds are 6'3", 189-pound senior, number 25, Robbie Arrowwood, and a 6', 160-pound senior, number 7, Chris Griggs.
Okay, for the Frankfurt Panthers starting tonight, we have Stephen Brown at quarterback, a 5'10", 165-pound senior. And one of the halfbacks is Thomas Wiedemann, a 5'10", 160-pound senior. The other halfback will be Brian Reed, 5'7", 150-pound junior. The fullback tonight will be Darrell Bell, number 46. He is a 6'1", 210-pound senior. At the center position will be Shane Smith. He is a 6'3", 225-pound senior. Marty Hammonds is at one guard, a 5'10", 165-pound senior. The other guard is Joe Hancock, number 73. He is a 5'9", 210-pound senior. The starting tackles for the Panthers tonight is Andy McEwen, Andy McEwen, who is a 6'2", 230-pound junior, number 75. The other starting tackle will be number 72, Gary Preston, a 6'1", 205-pound senior. And the two starting ends for the Panthers tonight will be number 80, Donald Perry, a 6'2", 195-pound senior, and number 83, Paul Looney, a 6'2", 180-pound senior, Rob.
Okay, we had a chance to get a hold of Paris Greyhound former head coach and principal of Paris High School, Homer Goins. So we'll take care of that interview.
Ron Wigglesworth at Blanton Collier Field. I have with me tonight Homer Goins, who is a current principal of Paris High School, ex-football coach here at Paris High School. Coach Goins, what do you think about this game tonight?
Well, it should be another fine football game. Over the years, we've had some great football games for Frankfort, a great tradition, and this should be just a super football game. I think the fans will enjoy it.
I know last year in the playoffs, these two teams met over at Frankfort, and it's my recollection that Paris won that game 41-0. Do you feel like that that's going to be approximately the same kind of game tonight, or do you think it'll be much closer?
Oh Lord, there won't be any comparison in last year's football game. Frankfort is playing with a lot more confidence than what they did last year. And of course, Frankfort has most of those players back that they had last year, and I think it's going to be a close football game with the weather and it raining some. Just a couple of mistakes either way, but it should be extremely close.
Tell us a little bit about this Paris High School team. I know last year they had a good ball club and won several games in the playoffs. How would you rate them compared to last year's team, and give us an indication of some of their top players?
Well, we have most of our players back also. We have Luke Summers, our quarterback, back, and we have all of our offensive line. We have Wayne Edwards, our good tailback, that had about 180 yards rushing last week. So we have most of our personnel back, but and we're starting to play better. That's why I think it'll be a good football game, because we do have most of our players back. Frankfort has most of theirs back. So it should be a close game, and hopefully we can win the football game.
Coach Goins, thank you a lot, and we appreciate you being with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, as we were running that interview with Coach Goins, the captains for both teams came out on the field for the opening coin toss. The Panthers are going to receive the kick. They won the toss. The captains for the Panthers tonight are number 60, Shane Smith, the center, and number 68, Marty Hammonds, the guard.
Okay, captains tonight for the Paris Greyhounds were Luke Summers, number 6, number 9, Mathis Colliers, who has been injured most of the year, number 26, LaWayne Edwards, the fine running back they have, and number 34, Brian Washington.
Okay, and we're a minute 8 from the kickoff. The teams are both coming out on the field just for their final conferences with the coaches. Both teams, Ron, have just really had a fine season this year, and it's I know the Lexington Herald is calling this a 5-point Paris ball game. I think the Frankfurt State Journal called it anybody's game. What are your feelings on that?
Well, I don't think, as Coach Goins said before the game and interview, I don't think it'll be anything like last year's ball game, 41-0. I had an opportunity to go in the locker room and talk to some of the Frankfurt High assistant coaches. They feel like their kids are ready to play, and I think it's going to be a close ball game. I think it'll be decided by under 10 points, and hopefully in favor of the Big Orange from the capital city.
Well, I'll agree with you there. Yeah, I think myself this game is just too close to call. Either way, no matter who comes out ahead on the scoreboard at the end of this game, it should just be a fine game. These are two of the traditional powers in the state of Kentucky getting ready to kick off here at Blanton Collier Stadium in Paris.
Walter, I just hope that this is an excellent football game, like many games between these schools have had. The first year I had as an assistant coach down at Frankfurt High, Paris beat us. At that time we were both in the same district. They beat us 15-14, was the only loss we suffered all year long, and they went on and won a state championship that year. That was 73, so I'm hoping we'll see another fine ball game like that.
Well, I think with these two teams, tradition plays into it more than anything, and no matter what the score, you see a really good game.
Exactly.
Okay, deep for the Panthers, who are receiving the kickoff, we have number 23, Thomas Weidman, and number 9, Stephen Brown. And kicking off for the Greyhounds, and there's the kick. Weidman attempts to field the kick near the 15-yard line. He fumbles it. Paris appeared to fall on the ball. We have a signal from the referee. It's Paris ball, 1st and 10 near the 20-yard line of the Panthers. That's a tough break for Frankfort.
Exactly, Walter. That's not the way you'd like to see a ball game start, at least as far as the Frankfurt High Panthers is concerned. Of course, the Paris Greyhounds on the other side, they're glad to see that happen, but Weidman made a mistake that a lot of backs make. Instead of just falling on the ball, he looked like he was trying to pick it up, and as he turned, he accidentally kicked it. It went upfield, and of course, the Greyhounds did recover.
Okay, getting ready to start the game from the line of scrimmage. Instead of having the Frankfurt Panthers on offense, what Paris calls a timeout. Instead of having the Panthers on offense, we have the Paris Greyhounds with the ball at the Frankfurt, appears to be the Frankfurt 19-yard line with 1st down.
It's a big break, and unfortunate, as I said, for Frankfurt. I know the people on this sideline, of course, they're glad to see it happen, but you know, anything can still happen. But they're in what the pros call the red zone now, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, it definitely should. I know Coach Webb is not at all happy with that. Okay, we've got a replay coming up on the fumble here. Ball just appeared to get away from Weidman, Ron. And of course, Paris fell on it. The player for Paris was number 50, Danny Courtney, who recovered that fumble for just a big play for the Greyhounds.
Exactly, very big play. Well, here we go, Walter.
All right. Okay, the Greyhounds appear to be lining up in the I formation. This quarterback keeper around the right end, Luke Summers, was the ball carrier for the Greyhounds. He's taken out of bounds for no more than apparently a yard gain. We'll see what the referee calls it.
Exactly. That looked like that was a designed play. Paris lined up in the right formation and had their strength over here, had a wide receiver on this side, and looked like that was just a designed play for the quarterback to roll out and see if he could get outside, Walter.
Hey, just the Frankfurt defense covered well on that play. He got nowhere on that play. So I take that back. They gave him about half a yard. So we're coming up 2nd and a little more than 9. Okay, Paris is lining up in a split backfield, going to the right. Oh, Summers is taken down by Paul Looney in his own backfield at the 28-yard line. Good defense by the Panthers.
It was a great defensive play by Looney that time for the Panthers, and it looked like that Paris, going to the wide side of the field, had a rollout pass call, but somebody forgot to block the front side defensive end, and he came in and made a good play.
Well, Paul Looney's a good, strong ball player, and he can get in there and make the play.
I was told this week by a former assistant at Paris High School that as the weeks have gone on, they have opened up more on their offense, and we're going to see them spread the field and try to use some of their quickness and natural ability.
Okay, Paris coming back up to the line there in the split formation again. Appears to be the same play. Quarterback's rolling out to the left. He throws for the end zone.
Out of bounds.
Pass was complete to LaShawn Stewart, but he was out of the end zone. Frankfurt he seemed to have a step on Weidman there. No, excuse me, that was Brian Reed.
It looks like what I heard this week was true, because first 3 plays of the ball game, it looks like Paris is going to try to attack the corner. And I know in talking to the assistant coaches at Frankfurt, they expressed a concern with that is the game may very well be determined by the play of their defensive ends, whether they were able to control the Greyhounds inside.
Well, Frankfurt, I don't think, has really seen a good passing team this year. Bath County had a decent passer last week. Of course, the Panthers coming up the winner in that first-round playoff game. All right, Paris is coming up on 4th down, and they're going for it. Lining up in a split backfield, going off to the... Oh, he throws to the right. It's complete at the 15.
I think that's a good defensive play, and it looks like he might be stopped short of the 1st down, just outside the 10-yard line, Walter.
Yeah, it's complete to Robbie Arrowwood. He brings it down near the 10. I think you're right, Ron. It does look like it's short of the 1st down.
That play there, they lined up their strength to the wide side. Paris lined up in a twin set to the wide side and tried to hit the receiver back on the backside on a little crossing pattern back across to the weak side. And
indeed he was short. The referee's given the signal over to Frankfurt. The Panthers come out for the first time on offense tonight.
Now the burden of proof is on the Frankfurt offense. They're going to have to get the ball out of here to get back in decent field position.
Well, that kickoff really is the kind of play that can just get a team down to start off again. Okay, we have Reed going wide to the left. Okay, the play went up the middle. I can't tell who the ball player is. Could have been Darrell Bell.
I believe that was Bell, the fullback, right up the middle. Looks like he gained 3 or 4 yards, Walter.
Darrell Bell's a good, strong runner. He started off on the line, and I think just one day in practice they found out he can run the ball and get 4 or 5 yards pop.
I saw him in the locker room before the game, and he is definitely a well-built young man.
Okay, Frankfort's coming up on second down. They gained about 3 on that play. That'll be 2nd and 7 from the Frankfort 20. Reed, the ball carrier, carrying to the left side. He got nowhere, Ron. It looked like he may have even lost a yard on that.
That looked like a little rub-off play by the Panthers, and I know one of the things I've heard being here in Paris is that the Paris Greyhounds defense is an excellent defensive team. They swarmed to the football, and that was indicated by that play there.
Well, they just got through there. The Frankfort line's going to have to contain better than that if they want to end up on the winning side of this ball game. Reed did lose a yard on that. Brings up 3rd and 8 for the Panthers from their own, appears to be about their own 16-yard line.
Might even be close now. More like, I think, about the 11, Walter.
I think you're right. Okay, that was Brown on the keeper. Brown got about, what would you say, Ron, 4 or 5 yards on that play?
Looked like he picked up 4 or 5 yards, but he's going to be short. Looks like he stopped about the 17-yard line. That looked to be what Frankfort used to call the throwback pass, and it was well covered by the defensive man over here, so the quarterback, Brown, just tried to run out with it. Good play on his part. Well,
the Paris defense is certainly doing their job as well as any team I've seen this year. Okay, Frankfort is in punt formation. All right, Brown's punt goes, not a good punt at all. It drops at Frankfort's 30. Frankfort covers it to about the 32-yard line, and Frankfort just doesn't seem to be getting the breaks tonight. Paris will take over with 1st down from the Frankfort 32.
Looked like Brown had some trouble fielding that ball and might have rushed his kick a little bit. Paris put a slight bit of pressure on it, but not much. But once again, the Frankfort defense is going to have to dig in here and see if they can turn the Greyhounds back, Walter.
Okay, Paris coming out of their huddle. They're lining up in a split back offense.
Little dive play over left guard, Walter.
Got about 3 yards on that, it looked like. Maybe 2. Okay, that'll bring up 2nd down for the Greyhounds. The Frankfort defense covered pretty well on that play, but they're going to have to really buckle down and cover those plays.
I know one thing that concerns the Frankfort defensive coaches, and that is the option on the corner.
Well, Paris is a good option team, and looked like quarterback was starting to run the option, but he handed off to his halfback, Darren Gray. He gets about 3 yards on that play for a 3rd down.
Going to look like we're going to be about 3rd and 4, almost 5. And if that play right there was any indication, I would predict this next might very well be an option because he came down the line and gave it to what we call the dive back.
Well, Paris is lining up in a split back offense again. They've got one wide out to the right. Same play back to the left.
Same play back to the left, gave it to the dive back. Looks like he might have gained a couple yards, but I believe he's going to be short.
Looks like we may have an injured Paris player on the field. He took a really nice hit from Brian Reed. Hope he's all right.
Going to have a timeout on the field.
We have an official timeout.
The Panther defense so far looks like they've come to play tonight. They've now in 7 plays, they haven't given up a 1st down yet. They're swarming to the ball pretty good. I'm just wondering what exactly is going to happen when Paris does flip the ball and get it on the corner, if they'll be able to cover it. I believe the back down might be LaWayne Edwards. Am I wrong or right? I can't see the number, Robert.
Looks like it's
Walter.
I can't tell. To me, it looks like it's 25, which would be Robbie Arrowwood. It's awfully hard to tell. Let's see if we see either. No, Arrowwood's in the huddle, so it may indeed be Edwards. That could be a 26. They're looking. It appears to be that they're looking at either his right knee or his ankle. It appears to be his right knee.
Like he turned the leg. The Panthers defense, several players hit him and swarmed to him, and as he was going back, it looked like that he injured. Look, as you're right, it looks like it's the right leg. I can't tell I don't see 26 on the sideline. That very well may be who it is. But good signs. He's getting up, and he looks like he's going to be able to walk off the field on his own, so that's a good sign for the Greyhounds.
That's a good sign, yes. That was Wayne Edwards. We can finally see the number. He's coming over to the sideline under his own power, so that's awfully good. You hate to see a player as good as he is or any player hurt.
Well, I'm sure he's a gamer, and he'll be back in there before the night's over. Going to be, looks like, about 4th and 3, Walter.
Yeah, all right. Paris is coming up to the line. Split back offense again, wide to the right. Look like they're throwing. They're throwing for their wide out.
Tremendous catch down there by the Paris receiver. I'm not sure what the number is.
That was 22, LaShawn Stewart on that. He really great catch on his part. He bobbled the ball 2 or 3 times before he was able to get a hold of it.
That was a nice pass by Summers, the Paris quarterback. He threw the ball high, but the receiver of Paris did a nice job of going up for it and bringing it down.
Yeah, he did, and that sets up the ball at the 9-yard line of the Panthers as Frankfurt gives up their first down of the evening. Looks like Frankfurt was having a little bit of trouble containing out there in the flats, Ron.
Well, they had a man right there, but to be honest, the ball was thrown high. It seemed like that the Paris receiver did a better job of reacting to the football than the defender for the Panthers, and that often happens at that time.
I think you're right. Okay, Paris is coming up to the line from their huddle. Lining up again in the split back offense.
Looked like a little trap inside the number 21, Walter.
He didn't get anywhere. Joe Hancock for the Panthers got back in there. That was Darren Gray, the ball carrier. Looked like he lost a couple of yards on that.
That was good defensive play by the interior line of the Panthers. I believe that was Bell, number 46, on the stop there. They tried a little quick trap off left guard, and the defensive line for the Panthers did a good job of containing it.
Yeah, they did a very good job containing. Paris
lost about 3 yards, Walter, looks like.
Paris coming back up to the line there in a power eye offense. There's the option.
There's a sprint option. Oh, good play by the secondary of the Panthers.
They did. No, I thought that was a flag. That was a pad being thrown.
Walter, that was the sprint option that I talked about earlier. Sprint option is where you try to get the backs on the corner without any fake. They had the fullback as a lead back, and the quarterback comes down the line and pitches when he gets contained by the defensive end, and it looked like for a minute that the running back that time was going to have some place to go, but the Panther secondary came up quick and really contained him for about a 4-yard gain, which as the play developed, it looked like it might even go into the end zone.
Well, if Paris can get to the outside at all, I really think it's going to be up to the Frankfurt secondary to stop them, because they've got just tremendous speed in their backfield.
All right, there's a throwback pass. They roll this way. They're trying to hurt the Panthers with a little cross action, and they tried to throw the ball to their receiver over on the left side, but it was out of bounds, so it's incomplete.
Summers was throwing for Arrowwood in that same play that they tried earlier in the quarter for the touchdown, and he just seems to be overthrowing his receivers. Frankfurt could easily be down 12 points.
Okay, Paris has their kicker in, their field goal kicker, number 10, Walter, and it looks like they're going to attempt a field goal from about the 15-yard line, be a 25-yard effort.
Okay, the kick's up, and the kick is good. Paris leads 3-0.
We have a flag down.
We do have a flag.
I believe there is a flag down, yes.
Okay, that may call back that kick.
Well, it's roughing the kicker against the Panthers. Now, the only question will be if Coach Grenisen, for the Paris Greyhounds, if Coach Grenisen wants to take the points off the board and try to score more than that, but I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm not sure if that'll give him a first down or not.
It's awfully hard to tell from here, but I think he's going to keep the points on the scoreboard.
I believe that might be an automatic first down, Walter. It is. So it's going to give the Paris Greyhounds a second chance, and this time they should be inside the 5-yard line. The ball was spotted at the 8 for that last play, so they'll give them half the distance, so it should go to approximately the 4-yard line, and it's going to give Paris a whole set of 4 downs to try to get it in the end zone.
Well, the Frankfurt line has got to stop the Paris backs here. The secondary, unless they stack the line, they're not going to be able to get up there in time, so it's up to the Frankfurt line to keep Paris out of the end zone. Paris coming out of the huddle now. They're sending a wide out to the left, split back offense. Okay, Darrell Bell seemed to jump through the line for the Panthers. We have flags. Let's see if he jumped up. The referee's saying he wasn't drawn off, so it's a penalty against Frankfort.
Looked like Bell was just a little anxious, and as Paris Greyhounds came up and got on the line, I guess the quarterback called the first signal, and he jumped and crossed the plane of the football, and of course you can't, that's called encroachment. Used to be the defensive players could cross that line and get back, but to avoid getting the offensive lineman hurt, they've since changed that rule, and you can't cross it. So it's going to be first and about 2, it looks like.
Well, that's another tough break for the Panthers. Paris in the end zone. The ball carrier was Darren Gray, and the Greyhounds lead the Panthers 6-0.
That was Gray off left tackle, and that time the back just almost walked into the backfield, and one of those situations again where the Panthers have made a lot of early mistakes here and allowed the Greyhounds to go up early. Lining up for the extra point now.
Well, instead of having 3 points on the scoreboard, 2 Frankfurt penalties have given Paris a touchdown.
I believe it's good.
And the kick is good. Paris leads Frankfurt 7-0.
4:48 to go in the first quarter, and the Greyhounds have taken a 7-0 lead. But to be quite honest with you, Walter, the Panthers have done everything wrong at this point, and they've shot themselves in the foot actually on 2 or 3 different occasions to give the Greyhounds this early lead.
Well, it's just these mental mistakes that you make in a. Okay, coming up on a replay here of the touchdown.
Paris looked like they were lined up in a, really not a split back. They had their halfback and fullback to the left side, and they just basically blocked down and kicked out with their near back and ran off tackle left side. And as I said earlier, the Paris back went in without being touched. So that was a pretty simple looking play, but it was effective.
Okay, Paris is lining up to kick off to the Panthers. The deep backs for the Panthers again, 23 Weidman and 9 Brown. The kicker for the Greyhounds is number 25 Robbie Arrowwood.
Once again, the Panthers having a little trouble, but Brown, I believe, picks it up.
Brown picked up Arrowwood's kick and got a decent run back to about the 30-yard line, where it appears to be Frankfurt's first down.
Walter, with the field conditions being what they are, and the fact that we had about approximately an hour and a half rain before the game, this may be one of those contests that the team that gets up early and is able to get an early lead and a quick lead might have the advantage, because I imagine this playing surface is going to get a little muddy as the game goes along.
Well, of course, Sauer Field being no different, it's just become a quagmire over the years in the rain. So Frankfurt has become a pretty good wet weather team. Okay, Brian Reed, the ball carrier for the Panthers. He turns the corner where he's stuffed for about a 2-yard gain.
Walter, that was the old Bell Point tee.
Sure was.
Straight backfield, 2 tight ends. They tried to block down, kick out, and to be honest with you, as long as Frankfurt lines up in that, the Greyhounds are going to be able to line up foot to foot on the defensive side of the ball, and it's really going to be to Paris's advantage, because they can go foot to foot with the Panthers and I think contain that type of play.
Okay, Frankfurt lining up in the Bell Point tee again. Going off to the right now, it's a throw by Brown. He throws for Donald Perry at the 40-yard line. Pass was incomplete. Perry just looked like he was underthrown a little bit and tried to dive back for it, just couldn't get to it.
It looked like nice coverage by number 7 for the Greyhounds, Chris Griggs. Did an extremely good job, and as we said earlier, the Greyhounds are playing the so-called 46 defense and playing man-to-man in the secondary, and unless one of them makes a mental mistake, I believe they're going to have pretty good coverage on the Panthers all night.
The Frankfurt line comes back up to the line of scrimmage. Brown again calling the signals. Frankfurt lining up again in the Bell Point tee. The give is to Weidman off the right side. And Weidman got a good gain out of that. He carried close to the first down, but it's awfully hard to tell whether it's going to be good enough or not.
It's going to be dependent on the mark, and I tell you, I think where they marked it, I believe he's going to have a first down. They may measure it, but we had the same play they ran a few minutes ago. Bell Point tee, first down for the Panthers. All right,
Frankfurt gets a first down at their own 39-yard line, and that's their first down of the night.
Exactly. I'm not sure if the Panthers are still calling it. Back in the days when I coached as an assistant there, that was simply called goal line belly pirate.
That's what they still call it.
Okay.
All right, Frankfurt lining up again in the tee. Same play to Weidman off to the right. Breaks 2 tackles. He gets about 2 yards on the play before he's knocked out of bounds.
That was a great play by Weidman that time. And it looks like all of a sudden maybe that the Panthers feel like they found a weak spot over there on the left side of the defensive line for the Greyhounds, because they've taken the last 2 plays there and made some pretty good yardage.
Well, Weidman's just an awfully good athlete. Frankfurt will be hard-pressed to find another back next year when he's gone.
Well, yeah, I noticed as we call these numbers off for the Panthers that they have a number of starters, so they're going to have a hard time probably replacing all of them, Robert.
Well, and on top of that, they're going to be losing one of the best coaches in the state when Webb retired. Brown's pass to the right appears to be for Donald Perry. It was broken up by Griggs for the Greyhounds. That'll bring up a Frankfurt 3rd down from their own 41-yard line.
That was goal line belly power, but that was goal line belly power pass, and where they ran the fake in off right tackle, and they tried to hit the tight end going on actually a little flag pattern. And once again, the Paris defensive back was right there to knock the play down. It's going to be 3rd and about 8, Walter.
Well, if the Paris defense lets up at all, Frankfurt's going to be able to take advantage of it, because both teams are just playing a very good football game. Brown back to pass again. Brian Reed was wide open in the secondary, but he wasn't able to get the pass to him.
He had a man. That time they took their back out of the backfield, Walter, and ran him down. And in Paris' scheme of things, most of the time they're going to cover the man out of the backfield with a linebacker. And to be honest with you, Brian Reed was approximately 8 to 10 yards to pass anybody Paris had. Unfortunately, the pass by Brown just wasn't on the mark. So it's going to be 4th down for the Panthers, and they've lined up to punt. Okay, Brown in punt formation for the Panthers. Paris with 1 deep bag. That's number 7, Chris Griggs. The ball's going to roll dead approximately 38, 39-yard line. So Paris will take over on their own 39, Walter. Okay, Paris on their side of the field to start off with for the first time tonight. Brown's just not able to get a good toe into his kicks. That was better than his last punt, but he just doesn't seem to be able to get any shoe on it. We have about 2:33 left in the first quarter. It's going to be Paris's ball on their own 39, and big play here might be if the Panther defense can hold right here and force Paris to punt and maybe give Frankfurt a little bit better field position they've had the first 2 times they had the ball. Well, that's one thing for sure. Frankfurt and it's their own mistakes have cost them field position. Exactly. All right, here's the option. Here's the option. They've got him outside. This is Edwards outside, coming left. Nice gain by. There's the option we talked about. That time, Walter, they ran it out of the eye. They faked the fullback in and came to the corner. Defensive end for the Panthers took the quarterback, but unfortunately, there's no one there to take the pitch back. Well, he just got a really good run to the Frankfurt 37 before Stephen Brown was able to get him down. In the first 10 or 15 yards of that play, nobody was even near him, and he just was able to get up good speed and get down there. That was about a 24-yard gain by Edwards at that time. Well, the Frankfurt defense is going to have to contain more than this if they want to end up on the winning side of this game. Paris lined up in an eye with the flanker left. They run off tackle here with Edwards to the right. He looks like he picked up about 2 yards on that play. Picked up about 2, and the tackle was by Donald Perry and Marty Hammonds for the Panthers on that play.
Replay on the pass.
Okay, we're coming up with a replay on the pass. This is on the option to Edwards. You see Edwards on the corner. They got him there with no pressure. Made a good move there to get around Brown, I believe the Panther defender, and takes the ball on down, as we said, for a 24-yard gain. And of course, there's good speed on Stephen Brown, because he hit him and broke away from him, and then Brown got back around and was able to get him. Okay, ball on the 35-yard line for the Greyhounds. Frankfurt's 35, and once again, long snap count. Looks like the Panthers jumped off sides, Walter. Well, both of the defensive ends for the Panthers definitely jumped. And that's what they call it. And I thought maybe since they both jumped, they might have been drawn off, but the ref says no. That looks like that's going to take it down about the 30-yard line, so it's going to be the Paris Greyhound ball on the 30-yard line, going to have about a 2nd and 3. And once again, the Panther defense have their back to the wall. They're going to have to see if they can maintain this diversified offense for the Greyhounds. Well, the Panthers are just making some mental mistakes tonight. That's Edwards, the ball carrier for the Greyhounds. He gets a couple on that, tackled by Marty Hammonds and Sharif Skinner for the Panthers. That was the eye once again lined up, had the flanker left and ran the power off tackle, lead back trying to kick out on the end.
and had a gain there of approximately 2 yards. So Greyhounds are going to come up with about a 3rd down and 2.5, 3 yards just inside the 30-yard line, about the 29-yard line of the Frankfort Panthers.
Now Paris is lining up with a wide out to the left, and again in the split backfield. Looks like that. I thought it was that option. It was that option handoff again up the middle.
Split backfield that time, Walter, by the Greyhounds, and they ran Edwards off the right tackle. Some people look like just a little outside veer dive, and he got the 1st down. Looked like a pickup of about 3.5, 4 yards. So it's going to be 1st down for the Greyhounds, and they're down inside the 25-yard line for the Panthers.
Well, the Greyhounds are just marching this ball down the field almost at will. Frankfort's really going to have to buckle down and get into this ball game.
All right, here's the option again. Speed option for the Greyhounds on the left. Edwards with it. Looks like he's going about 5 yards. And Walter, right now, the thing it looks like the Panthers are having trouble with, Paris is getting on the corner with their pitch man, and the Frankfurt Panthers don't have anyone out there to contain him. He's getting to the line of scrimmage outside, and there's no one there to contain the play.
No, and Paris has just got awfully good speed in their backfield, so they're going to have to get someone out there to cover that.
Walter, that was the last play of the 1st quarter. So going into the 2nd quarter, the Paris Greyhounds are going to have the ball down inside the Frankfort High 25-yard line with a 7-point lead, and both teams now talking to their coaches. I'm sure Coach Webb and the assistant coaches of Frankfort over there talking to the defensive team, telling them they're going to have to get a little mentally tougher here and try to turn this attempt by the Greyhounds back so that they can get back in this ball game here. Okay, for the production staff for Cable 10, we have Robin Phillips, Carol Sweezy, Jim Bell, and Dan Filliette True. So we're glad to be working with those men tonight. And there we are, Walter.
And they're thanking us for this, and we like to thank them for the opportunity to do this.
Exactly. When they called me up, they told me I'd be working for ESPN, and I told them, I said, well, I'll be more than glad to pay to do it. But I am more than glad to help Cable 10. I've been out of coaching now, as I said, for 3 years, but it's always fun to get back to it. And I guess every Friday night except one this year, I've been at a football game, so I've been around. All right, it's going to be the Greyhounds football. They're going to be just inside the 25-yard. Looks like the ball's about the 22-yard line, going in towards the Panthers goal line.
Okay, Greyhounds lining up in the I formation, going off to the right. Appears to be a pass. Okay, the pass was to Brian Washington. It was incomplete. He was wide open. He just fell down.
Okay, once again, a little rollout, and I know that Summers, a quarterback for the Greyhounds, like to have him in the back because, to be honest with you, the defensive back that time for the Panthers got his head up and started looking into the backfield, and anytime a defensive back does that, you get yourself in trouble. The secondary man there for the Panthers, I guess, was that Brown, number 9?
I think it was Brown, yes.
He looked up and looked into the backfield, and when he did, he lost sight of the receiver, and to be honest, if Summers had that ball on the money, it would have been a touchdown, the second one.
Okay, Paris coming back out of their huddle. They're lining up in a split backfield. It's like a give up the middle to LaWayne Edwards. He got about 5 yards on that play, Ron. Frankfort's defense is just not doing the job they should be doing.
That was looked like almost a little counter play inside. I didn't see a pulling lineman, but it looked like a little counter play against initial action, and LaWayne Edwards took it down to where it's going to be about 4th and 3. So that was a pretty decent gain there of about 4 or 5 yards for the Greyhounds. So here we are, 4th and about 3, and the ball's down inside the 20-yard line of the Panthers.
It's like it's on about the 16. Paris lining up in split backfield. They're sending LaShawn Stewart in motion to the right. Now they're sending Edwards back in motion to the left, and Paris calls a timeout.
I think, Walter, at that junction, they looked like to me they were trying to get the Panther defense to jump off sides. I'm sure the coaching staff over here for the Greyhounds have noticed that the defensive line for the Panthers have been jumping a little bit. So as a result, I think they tried to go to a long snap count and tried to draw the Panthers off. But fortunately for Coach Raymond Webb and the Panther staff, their defensive line held tough that time and did not jump.
Well, of course, you played and coached with Coach Webb, and I had the fortune to play for him, and you know as well as I do that the one thing he hates more than anything are mental mistakes.
Exactly. Coach Webb's always felt like that if the other team is better than you or the other man opposite you is better than you and he beats you, you have nothing to be ashamed of. But if you make the mental errors and do the wrong thing at the wrong time and it hurts you, that's always gotten Coach Webb upset. And as you mentioned, I was fortunate enough to play on the first team that Coach Webb coached at Frankfort way back in 1966. He was an assistant coach at that time to Coach Ollie Leathers, and he hasn't really changed much since those days. He got a little bit older, a little more gray hair, but he has basically the same coaching philosophy today that he did, and I think that was like 24 years ago.
Paris coming out in the I backfield. They're heading off to the right.
All right, there's the option again, and he looks like he's got it. All right, good run by Edwards. And,
Edwards broke a sure tackle by Stephen Brown in his backfield. He gets out of bounds.
I believe if Stephen Browns had made that tackle there, he might have held him short, but once again, the Greyhounds using the sprint option off their right side. They look like they picked up approximately 6 yards on that play and got a first down, and it's going to be the Greyhounds' ball. They'd come up with a first down, looks like about on the 9-yard line. So it's going to be their first down on the 9.
Frankfort's got to keep Paris out of the end zone here. 14 points in the first half. That would get Frankfort down and make it awfully hard to come back in this half. Paris coming out of their huddle, appear to be headed for a split back. Now they're lining up in the I formation again. Give us to Edwards. He goes off tackle to the right. Looks like he got about a 5-yard gain out of that run.
Running hard down there. It looks like he's down inside the 5. And once again, Greyhounds are giving the Panthers a lot of different looks. So far, their favorite plays appear to be that lead play, a power off tackle back away from formation. That time they had a wide receiver here, a flanker left in the I, and they go back away from the flanker. And also, of course, their big play tonight has been the option. It's going to be second down. Looks like Walter. It's about on the 4-yard line.
And Griggs is coming out of the Paris lineup. Luke Summers at the quarterback. Summers appeared to be on the keeper.
Yes, that was an option, and he faked the dive back and took it himself, and he didn't score, but he's down close. Looked like he's going to be somewhere in the proximity of the 1 or 2 yard line. And that time, Paris lined up, it looked like to me, in the same formation they have been lining up with that I. That might have been the split backfield. But Summers looked like he took it down. Looks like the ball's on about the 3-yard line, so I guess he didn't gain as much as I originally thought he'd gain.
It's awfully hard to see the lines that far down from up here. Paris coming out again in the I backfield. Marty Hammonds goes off for the Panthers. And that's good for a Paris touchdown. Frankfort didn't need to let them get in the end zone this time. And Paris goes up for a 13-point lead.
Walter, that play right there, LaWayne Edwards off tackle that time to his left side. That play so far has been the bread and butter play for the Greyhounds. They've come to that on several occasions, and each time they do, they get the yardage they need. So here we are with 9:38 left in the first half, and the Greyhounds have taken the 13-0 lead, and now they're lined up for the extra point.
And we can't tell who the extra point kicker is. He's wearing number 10, and they don't have him in the program, but we have flags down on the field. I have offsides called against the Panthers. They've been making that mistake all night, and it just keeps costing them.
Exactly. Looked like that time they must have lined up in the neutral zone, because the ball wasn't even set, and they called them offsides.
Well, that's just a mistake Frankfort can't afford to make. Paris is back to attempt the conversion again. And I don't believe it, Ron. It looked Frankfort jumped off sides again. Okay, that was the end. Number 83, Paul Looney, jumping off for the Panthers. It's just these mental mistakes that are beating them. When you look at the opposite sideline, Coach Webb's just not at all happy with that at all. Frankfort's had 2 offsides penalties in a row, both of them before the ball was snapped, and both of them on the extra point.
Walter, I just found out who number 10 is. That's David Norman. He's listed in the program as number 12, but evidently he's had a change in jersey. So number 12, or what used to be number 12, number 10 is actually David Norman. Paris going to go for 2 now. All right, they lined up and basically went off left guard with just a straight dive back, and the Panthers turned them back. So one big play there, even though Frankfort gave them a couple yards to get down there as close as they did, the Panther defense rose up that time and held them to and stopped the 2-point conversion, Walter.
Well, that was Darren Gray, the ball carrier for the Greyhounds on that, and Frankfort really needed to stop that 2-point.
Exactly. Now, you know, they're just 2 touchdowns. I've got a replay coming up here, Walter, on the touchdown. All right, here's the Greyhounds lined up in the eye. They're coming off tackle, lead backs to fullback. They give the ball to Edwards coming off tackle. They're just blocking simple football, block down, kick out, and he basically goes into the end zone standing up, even though he gets knocked down there right at the end. Once again, that's basic football. A lot of old coaches used to run the power off tackle, and all you do is you turn your guard, your tackle, and you end down inside and seal everybody off, let you lead back, kick out on the outside defender, and run the ball off tackle.
And kicking off for the Greyhounds is Robbie Arrowwood. Deep for the Panthers, Stephen Brown and Thomas Wyman. Arrowwood gets a good kick. Looks like it's going to Brown. It does go to Brown at the 15-yard line. He takes it upfield to about the 32, where it'll be Frankfort ball. That was a good return by Brown.
Much better return. Of course, the ball was kicked a little bit better. The first 2 times that the Greyhounds kicked off, the ball's been kicked low and kind of been a squib kick, and the Panther receivers, deep people, have had a hard time covering the ball. At that time, it was kicked high, and Brown did a good job. Frankfort needs to get something started here, Walter, and kind of get some momentum back in this game, because right now, the Greyhounds, everything going in their favor.
Shane Smith over center for the Panthers. Panthers coming out of their huddle.
All right, they're breaking the bell point tee. Look like they got 2 backs at this side with the flanker.
And Brown's back to pass. He's got Brian Reed wide open. Passes to, it's a bobbled pass. It's intercepted by Darren Gray for the Greyhounds, but we have a flag in the Frankfort backfield. Hopefully that'll go against the Greyhounds.
If that flag, yes, it's holding on the Panthers.
Holding called against the Panthers.
I thought where that flag came from, it was probably going to be against Frankfort. I'm not sure whether they're going to take it or whether they're going to take the football. I think probably, I don't want to second guess Coach Granazen for the Paris Greyhounds, but I would assume he'll take the interception. Yes, they refused the penalty, so it's going to be Paris's ball.
Another tough break for Frankfort. I couldn't tell if Brown had his arm hit or what, but he just threw a wounded duck on that play.
He was getting a little bit of pressure, and as he released the ball, it looks like someone hit him. But to be honest with you, I think the biggest mistake he made is he looked like he twisted his wrist, broke his wrist as he let the ball go.
Okay, we've got a replay coming up here on the interception, Ron.
All right, once again, Frankfort's lined up. They got a flanker here. Brown looked like he wanted to throw the ball earlier, but he had to roll out to his left, and then he threw a high, wobbly pass. I'm not sure, number 21, the Paris defender, Darren Gray, got back and intercepted, and it's going to be the Greyhounds' ball on about their own 39 as a result of that.
Well, if he'd been able to get that ball to Brian Reed, Reed just would have been off to the races.
Oh, there's a fumble that time by the Greyhounds, and it looks like Frankfort may come up with it, so Greyhounds may do a favor and give the ball back to Frankfort.
Shane Smith was certainly one of the initial hits on that. Well, gave the ball to the Greyhounds.
Greyhounds got it back. I believe that was Summers, the quarterback, hustled in there to get it. That time they lined up in the eye and came off tackle the left side, and they gave it to first back, and the ball was just mishandled between the quarterback. But the quarterback, Luke Summers, did a good job of hustling to get on the loose ball, and Greyhounds actually picked up about 3 yards on that play.
Well, another tough break for the Panthers is just helping along the Greyhounds.
That would be one of those plays there, Walter. If they could have got it back, it might have helped turn this game around a little bit.
Paris coming out of their huddle. They're sending men in motion. Lining up in the split backfield, wide out to the left. There's a Frankfort interception. Tim Hardy he's got a clear lane for the end zone.
I believe this might.
Hardy's headed for the end zone. Now he gets knocked out of bounds.
Back to 5-yard line, Walter.
Down about the 5-yard line. Tim Hardy is an awfully good back.
5-yard line looks like it's going to be the Panthers' ball. And Walter, that very well may be the play that we've been talking about that the Panthers needed, because they were down, had given up 2 early touchdowns. It looks like now the Panthers are going to have the ball, and it's going to be just right at, looks like about the 6-yard line, Walter.
Well, if Frankfort's got these mental mistakes under control, they ought to be able to punch that ball over the goal line and get 6, and that'll put a whole new ball game.
I'm sure that was one thing that Coach Granazen would like to take back. You know, you hate when you have a team down 13-0 relatively early in the second quarter with 8 minutes still to go in the first half. You don't want to make the big mistake and let them have a cheap touchdown.
All right, Ron, here's a replay of the interception coming up.
Paris quarterback Summers back, and as you said, the defender for the Panthers stepped in front of it. He had a wall of blockers here, and it looked like for a second he was going to go, But to be honest with you, the defensive people for the Greyhounds did a nice job of getting back and knocking him out of bounds on about the 6-yard line.
Well, Brian Washington was the intended receiver for the Greyhounds, and looks like Summers just underthrew his receiver a little bit.
Well, that time they didn't really fake the ball. He just dropped back and tried to throw what a lot of people call a Hail Mary pass. And to be honest with you, Gray, the Panther defender, did a good job getting back in coverage, and he actually had to come upfield and wait on the ball. That was not really a good pass. Coach Van Eisen for the Paris Greyhounds called the timeout, and I'm sure he's trying to get his defensive players aroused here to get them fired up to turn back the Panthers so they don't give up a touchdown here.
Okay, Frankfort's lining up in the split backfield. They've got Brian Reed wide to the right. The give is to Darrell Bell up the middle. Bell, just a big old boy, rambles down close to the goal line. Darrell Bell's got an awful lot of strength, and he's got an awful lot of heart. And he gets a little more yardage than he should, given some of the defenses he'd played against.
Yes, that looked like the Panthers lined up with a flanker right here and had their backs at this side, but they gave the ball back to Bell over his left guard, and looks like he picked up a couple of yards. He's going to be just down inside the 5-yard line. Looks like the ball spotted on about the 4, so it's 2nd and 4, goal to go.
Okay, Brian Reed out of the Panther lineup. Brown calling the signals over center. It's a little drop back pass to Paul. It's intercepted in the end zone.
It was dropped.
They dropped it. I didn't see him drop the ball.
LaWayne Edwards, and to be honest with you, the receiver for the Panthers at that time,
that was Paul Looney.
Paul Looney, he looked like he was open, but Brown just didn't get the ball to him. He threw the ball on the line and didn't get it up high enough, and if Edwards had held on to that ball, that would have been a big turnaround right there. So Frankfort still has the ball down inside the 5-yard line. We got about a 3rd and goal to go on the 4, and going to be interesting to see if the Panthers will try to run it here or whether they're going to go for another pass. But so far, every time the Panthers have passed, Walter, the Greyhounds have had somebody standing there waiting on the ball.
Well, this Paris defense just doesn't want to give up any points at all. Frankfort out of the Bell Point tee. The give is to Weidman to the right. He's hitting his backfield. Looks like he's dropped for about a yard loss.
Looked like that time, I think it's even more than that. It looks like the ball is going to be back about the 8-yard line. That time it looked like there was a missed handle by the Brown, the quarterback for the Panthers. Looked like he bobbled the ball coming out from underneath the center, and it just threw the timing off on that play a little bit.
Okay, Frankfort calls the timeout. Coach Webb over there on the sideline seems kind of livid. You know he's not at all happy about this.
No, when you know, anytime you get the ball down inside the 10-yard line, you have 1st and goal to go from the 6. You'd like to think that you could push the ball in and get some points out of it, but so far with the 2 runs and the 1 pass attempt, the Greyhounds have done a good job turning the Panthers back, and I'm sure the coaching staff for the Frankfort High Panthers over there discussing whether they'd like to try to kick a field goal. Walter, you've seen the Panthers play, I guess, most this year. Do they have someone who can kick a field goal from here?
Andy McEwen is, who's also their tackle, is their field goal kicker. And McEwen has really good range. I think he's been right on him inside the 20, and I don't know if Frankfort's tried to kick many outside the 20, but McEwen's got a good toe. He's a straightaway kicker. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he can usually put the ball through the uprights without any trouble.
Well, the ball spotted on the 8-yard line, so normally you spot the ball about 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. We'll take it back to the 15, and when you add 10 yards for the end zone, it would be a 25-yard attempt. Coach Wired has been out, assistant coach Wired has been out with the Panthers, Jeff Wired, discussing the play, and looks like Frankfort's going to go for it. They're lined up in the Bell Point tee from the 8-yard line.
They've got Darrell Bell at the fullback and Reed and Weidman at the halfbacks. Brown's heading out to the left for just overthrows Looney in the end zone. Looney fell down there, but the ball was just out of the end zone.
The Greyhounds actually had 2 defensive people back there with Looney, number 6 Summers and I believe number 21.
Which was Darren Gray.
Darren Gray. They were both back there covering Looney, so if he'd caught that ball, it would have been an amazing catch, to say the least.
Well, another tough break for Frankfort. They get down in near the Paris goal line. They just can't put it in.
Okay, it's going to be Paris's ball. The one good thing for the Panthers is that Paris has to take over the ball at their own 8-yard line, so they've got to come out and try to get the ball out up the field a little bit. The Panther defense, on the other hand, they need to dig in here and try to stop Paris without a 1st down so they can get the ball back in good field position.
Paris lining up in a split back offense, and Summers Summers calling a timeout. Looks like they had miscommunication between the backfield and the quarterback.
One of the Paris quarterback, Summers, was calling timeout. Looks like he had some miscommunication. Either he's got the wrong people in or he's got the wrong people lined up in the wrong position. And you're exactly right. He called timeout, and I believe that's the last timeout for the Greyhounds.
Okay, Chris Griggs coming out for the Greyhounds, and coming into the game is Brian Washington. Washington was the receiver that Summers underthrew on that interception to Tim Hardy that brought Frankfort down inside the 10 for them to try and set up a score, and they just couldn't get it in.
All right, going to go option right with the Greyhounds, and they give it to Edwards, and Edwards looks like he's going to break it out of there. He's loose on the sideline, and Walter, we missed a play there. The officials had called a delay of game against the Panthers, or excuse me, against the Greyhounds, because they called a timeout when they didn't have one. But that first play, they gave the ball to Edwards off right tackle, the dive back, and he broke it out. Looks like he got outside somewhere around the 20.
About the
25-yard line, 24-yard line. So he picked up a good gain there from back around his 3. That would have been about a 21-yard gain, and it gave the Greyhounds a little breathing room here. So they're going to have first down and 10 to go from their own 21. And that's the kind of play that the Panthers didn't want to give up at that point in time.
Well, the Panthers have got to get a big play from their defense on this series, because if Paris puts the ball again in the end zone, it's really going to be a good mental breakdown for the Panthers.
Okay, there was the same play going back the other way. What the Greyhounds are doing now, they're lining LaWayne Edwards, number 26, are lining him up at the back at the fullback position, and they're simply giving him the ball off tackle with the first back. And to be honest with you, Walter, with his speed and quickness, they're getting him on the corner so fast that the Panther defense is not having an opportunity to react to him.
Well, of course, the Panther defense did get up in there that time and covered him pretty well, and he only got about a yard out of that.
Gained about a yard there. We're seeing some maneuvering around by Coach Griggs for the Paris team, because he's moving LaWayne Edwards around where he can help them most.
Okay, and the give is to Darren Gray, and Gray gets down near the 40-yard line. Good for a Paris first down. Gray just ran that ball off tackle to the right, it looked like, and he just got a hole in there and just got upfield, and the Frankfurt defense wasn't able to cover until he was down for the first down.
That looked like that split back play again, and they gave it to the second back. They blocked down and kicked out, and Gray had a nice gainer, brings it all the way out to the 39-yard line. So we had approximately a 9-yard gain to give the Greyhounds a first down. So they're moving the ball right now. They've come all the way out from inside their 5-yard line, and with about 5 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the first half, they're on the march.
Okay, the give is to Gray. Looked like a little miscue on the handoff, but Gray comes up with it. Gets about a 4-yard gain on the play. He didn't get too much on that, but again, he's getting enough.
That once again was that dive play, and Gray got some good yardage off his right side. As you say, Walter, he got about a 4-yard gain, and you know, right now they're really hurting the Panthers off tackle. I'm not sure exactly what the defensive assignments are for the Panthers, but they're really getting hurt just off the right tackle play.
Okay, in for the Greyhounds is 64, Kevin Berryman. I think that's the first time we've seen him on the Greyhound line tonight.
And that was Luke Summers, Walter. It looked like that he tried to give the ball to the dive back, and it was cut off, and instead he took it and turned back inside and got a first down over at the 49-yard line for the Panthers. And Walter, one thing I just noticed, the Greyhounds have come up in an unbalanced line. They've only got 2 backs. They've lined up 4 offensive linemen to one side of the ball and 3 back to the other. And what's happening, they've got an extra offensive lineman on the line, and it's making the Panther defensive line have a hard time adjust to it. Here we see the same thing back to the other side.
And Summers runs the option off to the right. Looks like Edwards, the ball carrier, got a good run on that, about 6 yards.
Gained about 5 yards. What's happening there, Walter, is with that extra person on the offensive line for the Greyhounds, it's stringing the Panther defensive front line out, and I'm not sure whether Summers is up under center calling audibles or whether they're just picking the hole on site, but they're running to whatever spot that the Panthers don't have a down lineman, and that's where they're really gaining the good yardage right now.
Chris Griggs just came back into the Paris lineup, sent LaShawn Stewart back to the sideline.
That's the unbalanced back to the right, and Lawayne Edwards running off tackle again.
Paris is just able to get as many yards as they want off the Frankfurt defense, and Frankfurt's got to make an adjustment to stop that.
Well, about the only thing you can do in that situation, and I remember the first time I saw that particular offensive set, the gain by Edwards looked like it was about a 4-yard gain. They're going to measure for the first down, but Walter, the first time I ever saw that set was back when I was an assistant coach for the Frankfurt Panthers, and we played a team from down at Fort Campbell in the playoffs. I guess it must have been about the 76 season, 75, 76 season. And Marshall Patterson, the football coach down there, ran this same set, and we had a hard time all night long adjusting to it because of the fact that when they put that extra man down on the line, it makes you maneuver someone around, and it's just hard to cover up. The attempt there for the first down was short, so it's going to be third down and just a few inches short for the Greyhounds, and the ball's just inside the 40-yard line for Frankfurt, Walter.
Okay, Frankfurt again lining up in the split backfield. Looked like we had a little bit of a jump on that play, but I didn't see any flags. That was Summers on the keeper. He gets about a 10-yard gain out of that, good for a Paris first down to the Frankfurt 30.
Quick snap, ball down inside the 35 at about the 31. And right now, you know, it looks like that Frankfurt is kind of shell-shocked. Their defensive linemen appear to be looking around and not knowing what's going on. That time, they didn't even get down in their stance real good before the ball was snapped.
Okay, Paris coming out of their huddle again, lining up in the I backfield. Summers, the quarterback. Give us to Edwards off to the left. Edwards heads up through the Panther line, runs into the back of his blockers, but he still manages to get about 6 yards out of the play, and we have a flag after the ball was thrown dead.
A real late flag, and I'm not sure who it's on, but usually when you see a flag that late, it's a late hit. All right, one of the Frankfurt players came in late over the top, and it looks like it's going to be against the Panthers, probably a personal foul or a piling on. Personal foul against the Panthers. The ball would be spotted about the 25-yard line, so that's going to take it half the distance to go, take it down about the 12.5-yard line, Walter.
Well, another tough break for the Panthers, and certainly not to take anything away from this Paris offense, because Paris has marched the ball down. Oh, okay, we've got a replay coming up on that.
Okay, here's looks like Edwards running off his left side, and really the Paris line doing a real good job pushing people out of the way and forward. And there's the Frankfurt player. I don't know what the number is, but he came over the top. And to be honest with you, no, here's who the play's on right here. You see the Frankfurt player diving in right there at the end, and that's really uncalled for because you don't need that.
That looked like 23 Thomas Weidman piling on for the Panthers. And as I was saying, not to take anything away from the Greyhounds, they've just marched the ball down the field.
All right, there was a first down play to Edwards. Looked like it was going to be the power off tackle to the left, but that time the Panthers got in. And you know, right now the Panthers just have their heads down a little bit. They've made some mistakes here early, and they've let the Greyhounds get a couple of touchdowns on them. And if Frankfurt's going to stay in this ball game, they have to come up and play some inspired football now to stop these Greyhounds.
Well, we've got just under 3 minutes to go in the first half, and Frankfurt needs to keep Paris out of the end zone to keep them from being down 19 or 20 to nothing at halftime.
All right, here's an unbalance to the right side. They're running off tackle with Edwards to the right, and that time the Panthers defense did a lot better job. Stopped him for a short gain. And once again, the Greyhounds are still running this two-back set with an unbalanced line, and that time Edwards looked like he might have picked up 2 or 3 yards. Well, it's going to be actually still going to be about 3rd and 10, so I don't guess he picked up much.
Okay, Shane Smith, Sean Robinson, and Donald Perry in on that tackle for the Panthers. And the Panthers, just these past 2 plays, have played good defensive football. They've kept Paris from moving the ball down the field, which Paris has been doing all night. Paris lining up in the I backfield.
There's a fumble. Looks like the Panthers came up with it. Yes, Frankfort has the football, I believe. Haven't got a signal from the officials yet, have we?
No, I haven't seen one.
Yes, it is Frankfort's ball.
Oh, that was a good break for the Panthers. They need to put a few points up here on the board right now, but more importantly, they needed to keep Paris from doing the same thing before the end of the half.
Exactly. You know, there's a lot of difference. I know right now some of the Panther fans we're going to have a replay on the fumble. That time they're coming with the option left, and it looks like Summers was carrying the ball out in front of him, and it was dropped on the ground, and the Panther defenders coming in, picking the ball up. I'm not sure. Is that 23?
That was either what? No, it looks like Sharif Skinner coming up with the ball.
Okay.
That's 33.
33. Good job for the Panthers.
Frankfort lining up in the Bell Point tee. Brown lost in the stack. Brown appeared like he was stepping back to pass and decided to run with the ball.
That looked like it might have been a little quarterback draw, and they didn't get, the Panthers didn't get anything out of it. And I'm sure at this moment, Coach Webb would be content to go in down 13-0. You don't want to give up a big play. It wouldn't surprise me. Paris doesn't have any timeouts left, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Panthers simply ran a couple of running plays and let the clock run out to end the half. We have about 1:09 to go in the first half.
Well, Brown lost a yard on that play, and I think you're right. That would be a good thing to do.
Little playoff tackle for Panthers going their left side. Gained a couple yards, it looks like, but with under a minute to go, it looks like Frankfort's just going to be content to let the clock run out and go in at halftime and try to regroup and get some things going in the second half, Walter.
That was to the halfback, Brian Reed. Looked like he got about 4 yards out of that play. So Frankfort's up near the 20-yard line. They need to get it over the 20 to really get their backs away from the wall. Brown calling the signals for the Panthers. That was the give was to the eye back. I couldn't see who it was.
Well, they didn't get a whole lot of yardage. It's going to be fourth down. Might have picked up about 3 on that, Walter. But with under about 15 seconds to go, I'm sure the Panthers will probably just stay back in the backfield and not even run a play, because all they want to do is get out of here being down just 13-0 at half.
I think you're right. Everybody's already walking off the field, and I think that's what Webb's decided to do.
No, I take that back, Walter. The Panthers have called the official. Now, the officials are going to give the Panthers one more play. Frankfort decided right here at the end to call timeout. I don't believe the clock keeper saw the official motion timeout, and even though the clock on the field shows that the half has run out, the Panthers called timeout with about a second or two to go.
Right.
And they're going to take one last play here before the end of the first half.
Well, Ron, having coached and played for Coach Webb, what do you think they're up to here?
Well, I think probably Coach Webb's assistants have talked him into, hey, Coach, let's go for one play here. Hopefully, if you throw the ball, you won't have an interception, nothing bad can happen. I guess the theory here is that with just a tick on the clock left, that you hope that about 3 seconds going to reset it to 3 seconds. So with 3 seconds to go, and any play you run is going to take that much, whether you throw a Hail Mary pass or just a quick dive. And I think maybe the Panthers maybe are hoping that they can break something here late, but it would surprise me if the Paris Greyhounds gave anything up cheap with only 3 seconds to go in the first half.
Okay, Frankfort lining up in a split backfield. Brian Reed, the wide out to the right, and Brown is back to pass. Brown scrambles out of his pocket to the left, and he's throwing deep for Brian Reed. Reed just had a step to go on the ball down at the Paris 30, and he just couldn't get to it.
He threw that ball a long way, Walter. Well, that's the end of the first half, and with the Paris Greyhounds leading 13-0 at halftime here, we're going to see if the Panthers can regroup and get back in this ball game.
Well, of course, the 13-0 score just simply doesn't represent the quality of play in this ball game. Both teams have played a really good game. It's just been the mental mistakes that have hurt Frankfort.